So, self-harm. Yes, that's something that I have struggled with. And I didn't start flirting with those self mutilation rituals until I was 18, actually. And I think by that point, it's just because I was done being angry at the world. I was done blaming other people. So I redirected the attention to myself. So it had to be my fault. So all of that energy would build up and I'd take it out on myself. That's the thing. When we have a meltdown, like I said, that rage, that emotion, that sadness, whatever you want to call it, that maelstrom of intense force needs to find an outlet. You can't just keep it inside you because it will kill you. You will internally just collapse. So with me, it's like, right, it can go three ways. I'm either going to break something. I'm either going to transfer it into the outside world by attacking someone in some kind of way, or it's me, or I can take it out on myself. So I feel the energy, right, I'm either going to break something around me. It could be, I don't know, plates in the kitchen. It could be a window or something else, or a table, or it could be at someone. I could just hurl a load of abuse at them or attack them. Or if that fails and I'm on my own and I'm feeling pretty deflated, I don't feel like using my mouth because I'm so, depleted of energy. And maybe it's just I can't bring myself to blame anyone else. It has to be me. And that's when I direct all of that vengeance, that vengeful energy towards me. So yeah, I've got quite a few horrific scars up my left arm from one very bad incident. And it was after a night out. There was just a flurry of ordeals in my life at that time. And yeah, I woke up after a night out. I was still quite off my face on drugs and alcohol. And I just told everyone to leave my room, so I grabbed a peculiar weapon. It was a metallic ruler with very sharp edges, and I just hacked into my arm. And before then, I'd had a few scrapes and cuts, superficial cuts along my arms, but that was really when I thought, okay, I need to stop doing this because this is out of control. Next question, what's my social life like? Pretty good. Like, I know I'm the kind of person who requires solitary time in order to function. I know I need to recharge my batteries. When I make friends, I make sure I'm making friends that really connect to who I am at my core. I'm not really into superficial relationships of any kind. And, I don't have loads of friends, but I've got a few really good friends. I don't really do acquaintances very well because I feel always it needs to be a bit deeper. That's just who I am in my personality. But yeah, and I know when it's enough. I know when, I'm constantly monitoring myself. So if I'm in a group of a few people, I'll know that I need to take little breaks every now and again. I need to know when I feel like I'm starting to dominate the conversation, like, oh, right, the attention's not on me, so let me do something outrageous. I catch myself. Sometimes it's funny and innocent and harmless, but sometimes I take it a bit too far, so I just monitor myself. But my social life's pretty good. I've got some very, very, very dear friends. And yeah, this will kind of segue into the next conversation, which is, what is my relationship like with my siblings? It was adversarial at one point. When I was very young, I used to scapegoat my brother and sister quite a lot. I can remember my brother coming along, and it's not that it was his fault, but I'd kind of gotten I was very accustomed to having the house to myself and my parents, and then suddenly this new mewling ball of life comes squalling into existence, and it kind of distorts and upsets the equilibrium a bit. So I can remember, yeah, just teasing my brother quite a lot. I think I've mentioned this in a previous video. He probably looked up to me because I was his older brother, and um, I probably just started taunting him, I suppose. It wasn't really malicious. I mean, in my teens, I redirected that to my sister, and by that point, my personality was formed. I was a lot angrier, and I learnt how words can function as weapons. So I was probably a lot more derogatory and relentless with my sister. But, and I found that the reason why I was like that is because I hated life, and I wasn't that self-aware, and I was confused. Not that it's an excuse, but I just wanted something to take I needed a punch bag. I needed something to take it out on. And the more I found life to be an enjoyable experience, the more I found myself, the happier and more comfortable I felt in my skin, the less of a need I had to take it out on my younger siblings. And, now I've managed to establish, peace between them. And yeah, I suppose we get along really, really well now. We're very good friends, for the most part. What was my journey like regarding my diagnosis? Well, I found this amazing sanctuary. I'm not even going to call it a school. This woman who ran a school from within her own home. She specialised with kids on the spectrum, with ADHD, OCD, whatever. Kids who don't fit the system. Her philosophy was freedom to learn. We spent a lot of time outdoors like they do in schools in Scandinavia. And we were just permitted to be ourselves and to find our own identity, because that's just something that we couldn't really discern in regular schools, no matter how hard we trawled. So she had loads of contacts. I was appointed to a speech and language therapist in Birmingham, who originally diagnosed me with Asperger's in 2007 when I was 14. And then, because she was good friends with the woman who ran the school, she kept in contact with her all the time, because they were always, discovering new things, new concepts pertaining to, the brains of today, children who are diagnosed with this, that and the other. It's relative. It's only a problem inside an institution, inside a system, inside a conventional system, in conventional schooling. But it ceases to be a problem when we're in the right environment, when we're talking to people who we have an affinity with, when we are doing things we have an affinity with, when we're tapping into our power. It ceases to be a problem, and it finally becomes a gift. So she actually updated my diagnosis to PDA because it was more befitting, because I never quite felt it was really me, like Asperger's. It was like, yeah, fair enough, this is some kind of validation, this is some kind of explanation for why I am the way I am, but still, it's not completely there. It didn't feel quite right. And then PDA was like, yes, that is me, that's definitely me. But even still, labels, it's just a labels, that's just one facet of me and other kids. It's so much more than children who refuse to do as they're told. We respond very uniquely to our external world. It's more like, instead of trying to minimise and remedy autism, we should look at what autism is trying to tell us. What is PDA trying to tell us? Are we flawed? Do we need to be treated? Or are we here to treat the world? Is it about time the system should be torn down, and the way kids are nowadays should dictate what the new paradigm should be like? So, final question, how do we reassure younger PDA children that they aren't alone? Well, just keep trying. Just don't give up on them. Just keep looking for ways to make it work. Find what they're good at, find what they love doing, and just allow them to do it every day. If something infuses them with joy, with life, with bliss, then let them do it. If school doesn't work out for them, don't feel like you need to send them, because that's the thing. Let their behaviour dictate what's right for them. It's not something that should be quashed and changed and stubbed out like a finished cigarette. Just observe them in their entirety and think, right, and just be brave. It's controversial me saying this, like I'll take them out of school, but maybe that is the right thing, because I know what it's like to suffer, to endure the tribulations of a place where I'm just not understood, where I feel I don't belong. It's like, why? Why do I need to do this? Because in the end, it's just a waste of time. If you can see it whilst they're young, then do something about it right away. And those are all the questions that I have for today. Hope this video helped. See you soon.